Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lambremont Webre, and today we have a very special program with our friend and classical guitarist and contactee, John Martin. Welcome, John.
Alfred, so great to be with you today.
Thank you. You know, it's been a while since you've come on to give us another update. And so for those in the audience who may not be familiar with the background that you've shared with us over time, I just want to summarize that so people get the right context. And it's the classical guitarist John Martin, who has performed for President Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford and Vice President Al Gore in Atlanta, and has discussed mutual UFO encounters with former US President Jimmy Carter, has in our past programs discussed multiple evenings that he's had telepathic and visual interaction with apparent interdimensional extraterrestrial craft over Atlanta, Georgia, as he plays Bach and other classical music on his guitar, and how these ETs return his musical messages with symbols of love. John Martin discusses how these higher frequencies of classical music are compatible with the ET's consciousness frequencies. He shows how the ET craft interacts with our genuine and not AI artificial intelligence or Operation Bluebeam holograms or things like that. So that was just for context. And so, John, over to you with your latest update. Today, May 25th, 2019.
Thank you, Alfred. It's such an honor to be with you today. And I'm such a big fan of your work, and it's just a pleasure to be able to share my story with you.
Yeah, could you speak up a bit? Our audiences are saying that they're having trouble hearing people. Okay. And I think that that's not so much a technical issue, is that the internet is and in our microphones, unless they're in professional studios, people are not used to speaking at a loud, so we have to speak at louder than conversational level, kind of like what I'm doing now. Okay. So if you could do that, it'd be great. Thanks.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I've been playing guitar for about 50 years now, and I've studied classical music, and music has been a very important part of my life for the majority of my life. And I've seen wonderful things. I've met incredible people and great experiences, and it's gone to a level that I never would have really anticipated when I first picked up the guitar. And what we'll be talking about is it was really an exercise that I wanted to try. Around 2013, I made, and I'll preface this by a few years earlier, I had dinner in Toledo, Spain with President Carter, and we'll go into that later. And we discussed UFOs, and he discussed his experience, and I discussed mine, and he was very open about it. And, you know, there was no earth-shattering information that we shared, except that we validated to each other that we both saw something that was beyond this plane. And so it kind of ruminated in my mind for a number of years. And I was watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I saw how they used music as a communication tool, and I thought, well, I should try that. So I went out on my deck. This is in 2013. And I began playing the same pieces I've played so many, many times, and they're so deeply ingrained in my mind and my spirit. And so I use that to project into the universe love and peace, and just really just to try to reach out to see if it would be recognized. And literally, it was either the second or the third session, Alfred, this beautiful purple dome-shaped object was directly over our home and had a pink ring rotating around the bottom third of the plasma craft itself, totally silent. And I went inside, all the alarms were going off in the house. I guess it was scanning us because this was really the first time that we'd actually met. And it was really such an amazing event. And so I took that as my impetus to move forward. So I was playing again, and a few days later, 4 craft. If you look at this is the picture on the background is our courtyard, and we had 4 of them. I had 4 craft that came in 2 sets of 2 that were just spinning above the courtyards, excuse me, and completely silent again. And I went to get my camera, came back, and they were gone. And if you look at this picture, this was taken not that long after that. You can see the top of the tree in the center. The leaves were all burned. And I'm moving to the next slide, hopefully. This is one of the leaves, Alfred, that was burned. This was from September 19th, 2013. And they've never done that before or since. And I think the radiation from the 4 craft, they were so close that it charred that leaf. If you look at the top of the trees, they were all burned, all in that little central area. This was September 19, 2013. And I just thought it was kind of remarkable. And those were kind of the first pictures I took. And there's another of the trees and they've never been like that before. And now on September 28th, 2013, I went outside with my dog. He's always with me. I walk him around, and he's always there with me for my experiences, and he's just been a great companion. And so I was walking back into the neighborhood. This was during the day, and over our courtyard there was a giant cross and crescent shape, 2 craft in line at a 45-degree angle, metallic. They're reflective of the sun. Alfred, I think we discussed they were the size of office buildings, and they were just so amazing to see. And I had my camera with me, and I said, well, I'm going to try to take a picture of this. And this was the only thing that showed up, was this larger dot and the smaller dot, and that was all that my camera on my phone would recognize. I went in to get my Canon, my other camera, and I came back out, and they were crossing the roof line, and very clearly in my mind I said, they told me, please don't take our picture. We'll give you something that you can take a picture of. And this is actually around the same time, Alfred, in England. This is the cross in the crescent shape that was literally the size of the craft that I saw. If you look at the top, there's like a combine and a farmer standing at the top of it. And this was in Wiltshire, England, about 3 or 4 months before they came over my courtyard here in Atlanta. They were over there in England making this crop circle or crop shape. There have been a number of them like that, and it really resonated with me very, very strongly that they were giving a message to us. And I would really want at some point for you to discuss what your thoughts were, because that was a revelation to me, what you said, and it was just really an incredible thing. And so on October the 10th, 2013, this appeared in my courtyard, literally where the cross and the crescent shaped craft appeared. And so you can see what a beautiful, loving expression that they gave. They said they would give me something I could take a picture of, and they did. And I share this with everyone. Alfred, I meant to send that to you for your birthday, so just consider that one's for your birthday too. So I'm very thankful for that. And so I'm going to move on to the next one. This was April 9th, 2015, in my courtyard again, and there's another heart-shaped cloud, which I thought was just a beautiful expression. And I had this for a long time, and I saw something in the center when I pulled it on my computer, and I zoomed in on it, and there was this small craft-like object in the very center of that heart. And I would have no clue on how they're able to do that, but I just thought that was really an amazing thing. And each day, every day that I have, and there's different ways that I do it, Alfred. I do it through my guitar. While I'm playing, I project out on my deck, but I also do it in my mind at night. I go out and project those same thoughts and emotions of my music just with my mind mentally, and they lock into that and recognize that. And I have had literally hundreds of experiences with them now. And this is another, sometimes the hearts kind of, I catch them because they're so of a temporary nature that you can't always catch them when they're perfectly shaped. But this one was pretty close. And now I'm going to try, if I can, this was the first video that I've made. I'm trying to see where the controls are. Here we go.
Oh, you let me take your picture. Wonderful.
This was one of the night times.
Hey, dear friends. Thank you, sweet friends. Thank you so much for letting me take your
You
picture.
can see the energy
That's
coming
lovely.
off of it, Alfred. Sort
Thank
of a
you.
spinning energy.
Oh, that's great.
It dropped down into
That's the
my
first
neighborhood,
I
went
think
right
of
over
that.
the street within just a couple 100 feet, literally, from me.
Thank you so much.
And I always talk to them,
Oh, that's really great.
you can see
Thank you.
the energy of that, which to me is just a fascinating, wonderful thing.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Now, if you can excuse this one, I had my phone turned sideways. This was the road that it came on. I'm sorry it's sideways, Alfred. I had my phone turned, but this was the next day, and I filmed it, and it went directly over just the top of these houses. Let's see. See if it's gonna.
Exactly where I was standing. This is
There's my
right
dog. He's
above
with me. That's Bodie. He's with me all the time.
the houses.
It went directly above the houses right there.
Just above the tree level. The spirit behind that tree. Right there.
And this was another heart that was vertical. No, I'm sorry, horizontal, directly above me in my neighborhood. And these are all you know, they're all in my courtyard area for the most part. And I'm just amazed at how they do that. This was an inverted heart, Alfred, where they kind of cut the heart out from a cloud, which I thought was really interesting. There's another one. Let's see what this video is. Just one moment.
Hey, sweet ones. Thank you, dear friends. Oh, it's so lovely to see you. Hey, sweet friends. How gorgeous is that? Hey, dear ones. Thank you. Thank you, sweet friends. Thank you, my dear friends. So great to see you tonight. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to see me. That's so wonderful. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you, my friends. Wow.
And it's hard, you know, Mark Twain said when he searched for the right word that the right word is the difference between a thunderbolt and a lightning bolt and a lightning bug. And so when you videotape, it's kind of the same thing, because when you see it, Alfred, the energy that they give off, just the other dimensional love, and just the magnitude of the experience cannot really be captured on a camera. And I film very little of them. I mean, they will come in formations. They come in. I've had as many as 5 at one time come in formation, and each one is very special and important to me, and I thank them for each one of these. Every time they go to the effort to to come and interact with me and share, and I think something that's very positive for the world, positive for mankind, on a very personal level. And if you think about the amount of noise and chaos that must be generated by this earth, and the thought that a single person's mind can project and it's recognized on a regular basis, to me is just really an incredible thing.
Now, could I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Are these events happening as the result of your playing classical guitar music, or is it meditation, or what is it that evokes all of this? Or is it different each time?
You know, Alfred, I think it's music in many ways, and then I think it's also we're now on the same frequency in a lot of ways, and so it really is a link at this point. But you know, I've played music from some of the greatest minds over the centuries, and I've been playing this kind of music for so many years, and it's so deeply ingrained, and it's a higher math, but it's also art together, and I think they recognize that as something unique that humans are able to create and recreate. And with that, I think that was initially what made the connection. And then now it's I can look up for a second, Alfred, and they'll go whoop, the light will be right there waiting for me, and I can see them come into our dimension. I wave at them, and they respond. I use no, like lasers or anything like that. It's just my mind and my guitar, and I play, and it's just been a life-changing event for me. And the heart motif is something that has always carried through this, Alfred, I had a performance with a friend of mine. We were doing some meditative work. It's called a sound journey, and he's got all different kind of rhythmic instruments, and I play guitar while everybody's kind of lying in meditation. And the next morning, right on my deck, off to the side when I was playing, I looked up and that little tiny heart was there, and I just thought that was a lovely thing. This one was in that was in Seaside, Florida, May 20th, 2018. It was the second heart over the ocean that I'd seen. And there's two small black things in the water. I can't really recognize what those might be. But that night on the beach, I was projecting, because we would put chairs out, and a flotilla of 5 craft came overhead. One very large one in the center and 2 on each side that just went directly over us. Karen was there with me and saw it, and it was just really a magnificent event. And that was also instructive, Alfred, because it's not really tied to location, and we'll go into what just happened, which was pretty spectacular in that same vein. It's not tied to location, it's tied to frequency, it's tied to intent. And that's when another revelation for me on this. I could be 6 hours away. We'll hold off on that, because that just happened, and it was quite amazing. I did a concert at an art opening at a church down around the corner, and I just got the impression, please look up here and take a picture. And I turned around, I didn't even see, and I clicked, and you can see there's 2 small craft way up in the sky, and it's just just an amazing thing. That's a little closer shot of that. This is another heart-shaped cloud in my courtyard. This is all within just a block of my house. Now, Alfred, I was watching a show on the History Channel, and there was a Russian, you probably know him. Let me go up one. His name is Tsiolkovsky. Are you familiar with that name? Do you know who Tsiolkovsky is, Alfred?
I may have seen that name, but tell us.
He was a Russian. I think he was a visionary, and he saw a large cross. This was the type of craft that he saw. It was, I guess more cloud-like, but it was in that same cross shape, and I just thought that was really interesting. So anyway, I don't think, and I've seen other accounts of people seeing cross-shaped craft. 2 of them were tied together over England many years ago, and I thought I had that, but I may not have. Now, during this next period of time, Alfred, I was going through a very difficult period. A friend of mine had passed, and I was executor of his estate, and there was just a lot of kind of crazy stuff going on, and it was very difficult. It was some of the hardest work I've done in a long time. And when I was walking to my water park right around the corner, this appeared. And to me, it was just such, it was at August 22nd, 2018, such a beautiful show of empathy from the universe. You know, it's an impacted heart, which shows that, you know, they understand that I was really challenged and I was trying my best, and they were showing the, you know, the empathy from the universe. And if you look carefully, you know, right towards, you know, below the heart, you can see a round type craft barely in our dimension. And, you know, I didn't see that at the time either. And Alfred, so often when I see these clouds, you would think you would probably turn the, you know, the video camera on, but for some reason my mind always goes to pictures, because I think they really want me to take pictures of that. And when you see, you know, when you see these things, it's a shift in your consciousness, in mine anyway, that I always feel. I know Carlos Castaneda said when Don Juan would hit him in the center of the back, and it shifted his consciousness. These do that same kind of thing for me when I see them. There's definitely a psychic shift when I see it. And it was analyzed by, oh, his name escapes me. I'll have to, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he takes the picture. Jason Gleaves, I'm sorry. He does a number of these, and I sent him the picture, and he thought it was worthy enough to look at as well, with the heart-shaped cloud and the elliptical-shaped anomaly is what he called it. Alfred, they make shapes for me during the day and in the evening. Oh, this was at the water park, and it's a little hard to see, but there's orbs around it, and it's a beautiful, it was very clear to me. It was either a dove or maybe even a phoenix rising. This was after that really difficult period, and I came out the other side, and it was kind of a celebration from them that I've made it through it. I just thought it was just a lovely thing. And if you could, I have 3 or 4 pictures, and some, I mean, you can even see a spot where the eye would be. And it's, you know, it was intent and very obvious when you're there that, you know, that's kind of the spot now. I go there each night, and, you know, I project music, and I project love and positive thought, and they come literally every night now. And it's just been an amazing thing. My son, for my birthday, made this really beautiful painting for me, and it's kind of in the shape of the guitar, and it's me looking out, and I just really appreciated that. Let's see what this one is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful painting.
Thank you. Okay, this was also in my in directly above the little water park around the corner. I was there during the day, and I'm not sure if the sound will come up or not, but I went there and I saw one, and then I thought that was it, but there were 2 more following it. And I have a little piece of music I wrote. I put the music to it, so we can just watch it for a minute. If I didn't mess it up. So we'll go back and maybe go forward. There was one of them right there. So that was the first one that was leading through. It was only a few hundred feet in the air, maybe at the most. It's not tracking very well. I apologize about that. Just a minute here. There were two, Alfred, that were just kind of dancing together. And they're very selective, Alfred, when they do these things. Oftentimes, they make sure I'm by myself, and then they're very selective on when they do that. Occasionally they'll let other people see it, but I'm just very thankful and grateful when they come and just do these really wonderful events for me. And that was one of the hawks flying by. The red-tailed hawks, Alfred, are always watching. They're always there. When this is over, I do want to talk about that for a minute. Okay. The red tails, they have nests up in the top of the pine trees. And so and oftentimes they'll see me during the day, and we interact. Just the other day, one flew right around a tree and then flew directly over my head, which was just really an awesome thing to see. They're there all the time. And at night when I'm projecting, they're in their, they're in their nest at the top of the trees. They can see down from great heights, but they can also see up at great heights too. And so they see me interacting with the universe, and they see what I'm interacting with, and I think they're happy that there's one person that they know that see what they see, because they're up there all day. I mean, it's amazing to watch them. And I think I told you last time, two of them were circling our courtyard. This was 3 or 4 years ago now, I guess. And a red double ball appeared right between the circling hawks. And then it just slowly went away. And, you know, from that point on, we've been really, and these are generations of birds too. And they interact, and they're just very important to me. I know birds are important to you too, Alfred, and it's just another revelation. Now this kind of hit me like the other things I was telling you about. When you see it, it hits you right, you know, in a very strong way. But this was over the courtyard. No, this was over the water park again. And it's my first picture of another dimensional being. And it was really it was the day after Easter. And it was just an amazing thing.
Yeah, because we were commenting that figure is evocative of either the risen Christ or the Christ on the cross. You know, it has that evocation.
Yeah, it does.
Could I ask a question about the March 24th, the video that we just went through? Had you been playing music prior to that, or were you just walking through the park? What? Yeah.
You know what? As a musician, music is always in my mind all the time.
Oh, I see. So this is music that you may not be playing physically with a guitar. However, you're broadcasting it in your mind. I see. Okay.
And when I'm walking too, there's a 1 second. When I'm walking, there's a Bach prelude that works very well. Just that very simple. When I'm walking, playing that cadence. So that's all part. It's all part of the thing, and I'm constantly. Such a part of. And every time I go outside, if I see them, I always say, "Hey, my friends, how are you?" Always. You know, as soon as I walk away, you know.
Yeah. Could you speak up again and say what you just said, but just a bit more slowly, because somehow the sound is not getting through.
Okay. Every time I go outside, I always, I always acknowledge them and say hello to them. And I do that each time I go out. And so I'm playing music and interacting. and it's always, you know, always polished when I go outside now. Now these I've got 5 pictures that I took, and this one I think is very interesting. If you look to the right, Alfred, it looks like the portal that the being actually came through. And we're kind of blocking it a little bit with our thing. But it almost looks like an upside down heart that it came through. Which is just an amazing thing to me. But so often they're just, you know, perfectly centered like that for me to see, which I think is amazing. Now after that, can you hear me all right? I just
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I was asked to do I gave an interview to this person. I won't go into that, but I was asked to do a kind of lead a kind of a online attempt to reach out with all of these different viewers, and I had a kind of a bad feeling about it. And it turned out that it was just not going to be something that I wanted to do for various reasons. And when I said no to that, Alfred, that night, it dropped down directly over the street and just illuminated the celebration. You know, you have to learn when to say no sometimes. And the next day, right at the water park, this appeared. A beautiful hummingbird in the same spot. And then I want to zoom in. If you can see at the top, just the red-tailed hawk, just circling it, just really, um, you know, just celebrating that. And so I think it was a bit of a test for me to, you know, I think they want to make sure that your thoughts are correct and you're doing really the work that you should be doing as opposed to, you know, just whatever might come by.
Wow.
And this is sideways. And I'm not sure how good it's going to be. I'll scoot forward. But this was during the day, and there was a little metallic craft. I'll scoot forward. Okay. Hold on. Little metallic craft that was just trying to get this is the little waterfall. I'm sorry it's sideways, but much I can, we may have to walk through. It's not very long. Sorry. But it was just really trying to get my attention. And I couldn't really see because the sun was in my display. Just a little metallic craft up there just trying to get my attention. You know, we don't have to watch it for a long time. But anyway, that was one that they, you know, they just appear and just make sure that they, you know, that we see each other and we interact. Now we're going to go back to Seaside a few days ago, and the night before we left, I ordered some Thai food at the little restaurant, so I went to go pick it up, and directly over the restaurant, it's fully illuminated, just like that, went over the top. And I thought I recorded it, but I guess I didn't hit the button right. But I said, "Hey, we're going to Seaside. We'd love to see you down there." And I'll be there every single day. And And we were just laying in the hammock on, we had a deck. It was May 17th.
Seaside, Florida, May 17th. We're not rocking and it's still big friends. Looks like it's kind of moving like that. Good to see you.
When you see it, Alfred, it's just a mesmerizing thing to see. I mean, the brightness is, it's otherworldly. It really is.
Sure. And I can zoom in on this.
And then the next day, I was laying on the hammock again, and it came back. Uh-oh, sorry. He was there eating. Let's see. I think they were having a party on the beach or something, and just playing some beach music, but just dropped right down and we came directly overhead. Well, this one isn't quite as good, but having a hard time focusing on it because I guess all the other lights went on. It's slowly going directly overhead, so it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I came back, they were, you know, they came right back here too. So, you know, they can hop in. They have such great control, Alfred. The other day it was almost fully overcast, and there was just a little rim of sky near the tree line. I was projecting towards that, and they appeared right there. Boom. Just, you know, just for a few seconds to say hello. And it's, you know, it's an amazing thing for me. Now there's an album that I was asked to be on. It's called Eclectia, and it's a number of experiences from England and here in the U.S. And so we're trying to put a concert together. If we can do an outside concert, I think would be really interesting. I think there's great potential, you know, true interaction with, you know, the audience, the musicians, and, you know, our friends in the universe as well. So
are these all musicians who are also contactees? Is that it?
yes,
Oh, amazing.
yeah. So we're all working together to try to make something really important happen. So it's called Eclectia, and it's Joanna Summerscale was the one that it was her brainchild, and she actually, I think she saw one of our interviews, Alfred, and that's how she got in contact with me to do this. So, you know,
Oh, good.
I thank you again for that. Now, I did want to go. This was, it was a number of years ago in Toledo, Spain. We'd gone to find guitars for in my friend's factory so that they could be auctioned off for the winter auction. And this is the dinner where I spoke to President Carter about the UFOs. And I had to play my dinner a little bit, but that's all. That's okay. And I played for a minute too. And this was one of the guitars that we presented, and I think it's raised, over the years we've raised $600,000 for the Carter Center with these guitars, which
amazing.
Now, Alfred, my friend, who was the World War II pilot, passed away very quickly. I mean, he seemed very healthy, but he passed away, and you know, that was kind of a wake-up call for me. You and I talked about me contacting President Carter about these events, and it took me a while to kind of get the courage up to do that, but I did. I wrote him about our experiences, and you know, if nothing else, that says, you know, it shows my level of commitment to this, because that's one of the most important relationships I have beyond my family. Is, you know, my relationship with President Carter, and you know, yourself, Alfred, and so I'm very very careful on what I do, and so I basically, in the letter I went over what we just discussed ourselves, and I sent the letter to him. And he wrote back, "John, thanks for the CDs, photos, and this wonderful account. Best wishes, Jimmy Carter." And you know, I treasure that letter, because that was, you know, that was something if I didn't do that, Alfred, and you know, years from now, I think I would regret that. So, you know,
Right. Exactly. Well, he's a very spiritual soul and a very deep soul.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Could I ask you a question that actually came up for me during that lengthy, that more lengthy video? I think it was maybe March 24th, 2019. Have you ever had a feeling or a memory that you or a recall that you may have been on a ship at some time?
You know, it's possible, Alfred. There's so much I don't know right now.
Yeah, could you speak up just a bit, please? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure at this point. Hey, are we on the same? Do I need to change this perspective? So I'm.
No, we've stopped screen share, and we're back to just talking normally.
Okay.
Have you finished the slide?
Yeah.
You have? Okay. Yeah, we've stopped screen share, and we're just talking normally. So I'm just, we're just.
I want to make sure that your picture and mine are the same.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
So I had just asked you if you ever have a memory or a feeling or something pops in your mind that you have been on a ship.
You know, I think I go in my dreams more than physically.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it's at right now.
Good.
1 second. There you go. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and she has videos of these same kind of things, and she calls them Merkabahs.
Uh-huh.
Which is, and hers are always stationary, and she's had way more experience than I have with this, Alfred. I'm still very young with this whole thing, I think. But it's it's really, I think it's accelerating at this point. It's an everyday thing. I was out last night, and I was actually speaking with her on the phone when they came. So there was a three-way interaction there, which was really interesting. But she feels that they may be Andromedans.
Huh.
That was her feeling on that. But honestly, I don't have a whole lot of conscious idea of what it is behind my experience at this point. I know you have a lot of recognitions now that are developing that I really want to learn more about too. But I still think I have a ways to go before I'm aware of all that's happened.
Yeah, well, I think that you're doing an excellent job of just staying conscious of recording them and remembering your experiences as well as the physical record, and then sharing them with us and with a wider audience, because these are intentional intentional communications, and it seems that they are communications of unity consciousness outside of the duality consciousness that our old world of duality consciousness is I win, you lose, basically. And it's moving, and we're moving out of that world of war, disease, crime, and poverty, which is an imposed matrix. It's the reptilian, Saturn moon matrix to squeeze as much loosh out of the community of human souls for the reptilian consciousness. And now we're moving toward a higher frequency and ascension into unity consciousness, where we're all one, where we're not being squeezed like a crop.
Right.
And I think that that's what these consciousnesses are doing, and so the veil between the dimensions is becoming thinner and thinner, because, as you said, these are a daily occurrence. And I was just taking down the dates here, and they seem like you went, well, it may have been that you just selected these photos from 2013 to 2015 to 2017, and then obviously 2018 and 2019 were the bulk of the photos, so it's the most recent update. Is that the case?
It's accelerating. It absolutely is. There was a long period of time after the cross and the crescent came where I saw nothing really. You know, I'd go out and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that was them giving me chance to just kind of integrate the experience and, you know, kind of.
Well, if this was a random selection, there's a lot of. I mean, I know that in 2013, the cross and the crescent was really the coming to, you know, getting through the duality of the war on terror, where it looked like the reptilian consciousness that was acting through the well, we don't have to get, but you know, there's a war mentality that created the war on terror. The 9/11 as a false flag, which was actually created by the secret time travel government that architected the 9/11 event, along with reptilians. That you can go to News Inside Out and see a lot of the background on this. But so that in 2013, you have this, you know. But then you progress through April 9th, 2015, into the heart, you know, and the heart comes out, and then to June 17th, 2015 in Texas. That's another heart. Isn't June 17th Juneteenth? Isn't that?
Yeah, it is, I think.
Yeah, it is. And then you go to January 20th, 2017, and you have another heart. Isn't that the inauguration day in the U.S.?
Wow.
June 17th, and you have another heart. And then from there, you seem to have really picked up and gone to July 21st, September 6th, 2017, and then you go to 2018, you really start picking up speed.
Yeah.
So it looks like we broke through whatever, you know, reptilian incursion of the war on terror had been made, and we're like moving back up into ascension, up to 5D. At least that seems to be the rhythm of your contacts. It just seems to me.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of negative things happening, but there's a lot of really positive things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're dealing with frequencies, and so staying in that frequency is so important.
Yeah.
Because it's like if it's as you said, and Andromedans, you know, they're up in 5D, 6D, 7D, and so you know, they're kind of holding a stable platform for our planetary and individual ascensions back up out of the 3D valley that we fell into after the last reptilian human war around 12,500 years ago with Atlantis. It sounds like maybe. Yeah, this is the exopolitics, deep space ecology, you know, that we're in.
Right. Yeah. I know. I just on an individual basis that they've recognized what I'm doing and interact in a very positive way, and I'm just very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Looking forward to.
Yeah. How can people follow your work, do you have a point of contact, or do you have a website, or?
I have a Reverb Nation site, John Martin Classical Guitarist on Reverb Nation.
Okay.
You can watch. Yeah, that's probably the best.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are there any insights that you had wanted to bring, that or points that you had wanted to share that you haven't been able to bring up yet, or?
I think more is, this is more of a kind of a fact finding.
Yeah.
And so that's, that's, to me, that's the big thing, is that it's actually happening, and it's a very real experience.
Well, we're sort of at the edge of the portal. That is, there's a lot of research, and this is all, it's hard to pin down. But if you look at the quote ascension hypothesis, we're in 2019 right now. Today is May 25th, 2019, and there's some hypothetical research, and there's different ways of looking at all of this, because there's some ways that's saying that we've moved out of the Kali Yuga and we're in the Dwapara Yuga now. And so we're about, let's say, if we're in a dual sun system, and so we were at sort of in the deepest, darkest frequency in the Kali Yuga, and we're about, say, and that was 12,500 years away from the Golden Age, going around. So we're about 10,000 years away from being in the Golden Age, where the dual suns in our solar system align. That's one point of view. There's another point of view that this is where you have to hold parallel, different reality views, kind of in parallel. And there's a different point of view that says, oh, we might have a frequency ascension somewhere around between 2025 and 2030. We might actually move more up from 3D through 4D up to 5D. And all of this could be happening, and through one lens is called the Dwapara Yuga, and through another lens is called 4 and 5D. It just depends how people like to language it. But we're definitely moving into a more refined ascension, and moving out of the deep, 3D and duality consciousness of war, disease, crime, and poverty that a very dark series of entities threw us down in at the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th, when they threw us down into the Federal Reserve System, World War I, World War II, mega genocide, atomic weaponry, and that was kind of the Rothschild incursion of the central banks, the satanics, kind of the last gasp of the Lucifer rebellion. And thankfully, according to some versions, Lucifer and Satan have been tried and executed, or whatever metaphors you want to talk about. So that's some of the lore that comes out of deep exopolitics. We'll see. That, and in the exopolitical framework, what you've been sharing with us are what's called context communications, and that is another interdimensional intelligent civilization communicating with our own through a context communication that is clouds that look like hearts that transmit love. And we're different civilizations, but we can communicate via context and via frequencies.
It's an amazing thing, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm ready just to see what the next step is. So, Alfred, I just wanted to catch you up and
well, listen, we're all grateful, and we're very grateful every time that you are able to come and be with us here at Exopolitics TV. So you're always welcome here, and we look forward to your next visit, John Martin.
Thanks, Alfred. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Totally. Good enough then.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Okay.